At the department all hands, the VP laughed and said, "Let's give a round of applause to Amanda, our favorite overachiever who refuses to take maternity leave because work is her baby." The room erupted while I sat frozen. I'd never said that. I'd just been denied time off 3 times. So I filed a quiet lawsuit and took notes for 8 months. The day the news broke, she burst into my office and whispered, "You think this will end well for you?" I just pointed to the camera above my desk. I've never been the type to cause problems. I show up, do my job, keep my head down, and try to be helpful. That's how I was raised. You work hard, you stay respectful, and things should work out. That's what I believed for years. But things changed last year. I work in St. Louis at a mid-sized tech company. I've been there 5 years. My name's Amanda. I manage project timelines and coordinate teams, engineering, QA, DevOps, all of it. I'm good at what I do. I don't mean perfect. But I know what I'm doing. People come to me when they want things done without drama. I found out I was pregnant last spring. My husband and I were thrilled. We'd been trying for a while. It wasn't an easy road. I had 2 early miscarriages before, so I was nervous. But at the 12-week mark, everything looked healthy. That's when I told HR. I thought it would be simple: fill out a form, pick a leave date, maybe talk to my manager. I didn't expect them to fight me on it. The first time I asked for leave, I was about 16 weeks. I wasn't showing yet, but I was feeling it: back pain, nausea, trouble sleeping. I wanted to take off starting around week 37, just to be safe. HR said no. They said the timeline was premature, and they'd revisit it after Q3 planning. I didn't panic. I thought, okay, fine, maybe they just need more time to shuffle things. I still had months left. Around 30 weeks I asked again, this time with a doctor's letter. He said I was showing signs of stress, high blood pressure, swelling. He recommended I slow down. Still got a no. This time they said, leadership is stretched thin right now. We need to get through deployment. At that point, I was managing 3 overlapping rollouts. I was in charge of a 15-person team. 2 people had just quit, and I was covering both their workloads. It wasn't just stretched thin. I was drowning, and they knew it. At 35 weeks, I submitted the leave request again, attached another medical note, and asked for HR to confirm in writing. No reply. A week later, they scheduled the all-hands. I didn't think anything of it at first. I figured it would be the usual: graphs, KPIs, customer success stories, the typical cheerleading. It was held in the big auditorium downstairs. Around 150 people from different departments: HR, engineering, leadership. I sat in the front third, trying to get comfortable in a chair that didn't fit my back anymore. Then Daniela Rowe, our VP, got up to speak. I've never liked her. She's sharp, polished, and fake. She smiles while saying the nastiest things. She always has her nails done and her hair perfect, but nothing about her feels real. She started going through her slides. Then she paused and smiled. "And let's give a big round of applause to Amanda Reynolds," she said in this sugary voice. "Our favorite overachiever who refuses to take maternity leave because work is her baby." People laughed. I mean loud. A few people clapped. One guy actually shouted, "She's unstoppable." I sat there frozen, my hands on my belly, my face burning. I never said that. Never once. Not to her. Not to anyone. It was a lie. A cruel one. Meant to make me look like I was obsessed with my job. Like I didn't care about my child. Like I had chosen to work through pregnancy when really, they never let me stop. That moment broke something inside me. But I didn't cry. I didn't storm out. I just smiled, clapped, nodded like I was in on the joke. And then I went back to my desk and started writing everything down. I kept notes. Every meeting, every email, every offhand comment. I backed up my chat logs. I took screenshots. I printed things at home. I bought a tiny black notebook and wrote everything in it every day. I made sure everything was in writing. If someone called me, I'd email a follow-up right after, just confirming our conversation earlier. Stuff like that. I talked to a lawyer. Quietly. He was calm and methodical. He told me I had a case, maybe even multiple ones. But we'd need more than just a bad joke and ignored emails. So I kept going. After I gave birth, I finally got 2 weeks off. 2. Not even paid. I had to use vacation time. My C-section recovery was brutal. I could barely sit upright. But my inbox kept pinging. People kept asking for project updates. I logged in. I answered. I took calls. Daniela? She told people I was being unreliable and unavailable. Said I didn't plan her leave properly. When I came back, they cut my responsibilities in half. Reassigned 2 of my projects. Didn't even tell me. Then I got written up. They said I'd been unengaged since returning. That I seemed overwhelmed. Of course I was overwhelmed. I was juggling a newborn, healing from surgery, and trying to prove I still belonged. But they didn't care. I kept taking notes. At this point, I had 8 months of records, chat transcripts, emails, calendars, performance reviews, photos of my swollen feet under my desk, logs showing I was working during unpaid leave. My lawyer said we were ready. He filed quietly. We didn't go public yet. We didn't want to spook them. We wanted them confident, relaxed, just long enough to get sloppy. Then the reporter called. I never went to her. She found me, said she was working on a piece about maternity discrimination in the tech world. She'd heard rumors about our company. I didn't confirm anything, but I didn't deny it either. A week later, she had enough. The article dropped on a Tuesday morning. It didn't use my name, but it mentioned the VP, the company, the exact quote, and it laid out everything. The timeline, the retaliation, the denied leave, the hostile work culture. By 9:30 a.m., the office was chaos. At 9:47, Daniela stormed into my office, slammed the door behind her, face red, eyes wild. You think this will end well for you? She hissed. I didn't say a word. I just raised my hand and pointed at the ceiling. She followed my finger, straight to the security camera mounted in the corner, the one she had ordered installed during the renovation. She didn't say another word. She just turned and left. After Daniela left my office, I sat there for a few minutes without moving. My heart was pounding, but I felt calm, controlled. I had waited 8 months for this moment, and it was just beginning. I opened my email. 2 unread messages already from HR. One said they wanted to schedule a clarifying conversation. The other was marked urgent, from the Director of Communications. I ignored both. Instead, I opened a folder on my personal drive, encrypted with password protection, and uploaded a copy of every document I'd saved. Then I forwarded the link to my lawyer. He replied within 10 minutes. They're scrambling. We got an email from their legal team asking for a meeting. No admission of anything. Just requesting context. It's starting. That same day, the VP canceled the all hands. People noticed. There was confusion all around. Slack channels were buzzing. Folks asking if the article was true. I stayed quiet. Let it swirl. By lunchtime, word had spread to 2 other departments. Marketing. Sales. Someone leaked the article internally. I don't know who, but I have guesses. A few of the junior analysts had looked worried during that joke months ago. One of them might have done it. Doesn't matter. What mattered was that it wasn't just my battle anymore. Then things got worse for them. 2 days later, another woman from Q Chelsea reached out to me on Teams. Hey, I read the article. I think the same thing happened to me last year. Can we talk? We met at a coffee shop that night. She showed me her emails. It was all there. Denied medical leave. Dismissive messages from Daniela. A half-assed HR investigation that led to nothing. She said she'd quit because she was scared. She wasn't the only one. Within the week, 4 more women came forward. 2 from engineering. 1 from product. 1 from finance. They all had similar stories. Pregnant, asked for time off, got punished for it. My lawyer was ready. He brought them in. Now it wasn't just a lawsuit. It was becoming a class action. Daniela must have found out, because she started going full damage control. She called a Women in Tech meeting the following Monday, brought in a catered breakfast, smiled the whole time, said things like, "We're listening now. We want to learn and grow." It made me sick. I didn't go. HR sent a calendar invite anyway. I declined. 10 minutes later, they emailed me a performance improvement plan for lack of collaboration. That's when I lost all patience. I sent one email, just one, to our VP of Legal. I attached the full lawsuit, the article, a copy of every retaliatory action since the piece dropped, and ended it with one line. If you continue to harass me, I will add every name I need to, including yours. They went silent. But Daniela? She didn't stop. She started spreading rumors. Said I had doctored documents. Said I was mentally unstable after birth. Even hinted that I was trying to get fired for the payout. I found this out because someone from HR, someone I'd never spoken to before, sent me an anonymous tip. A screenshot of a private Slack chat. Her name was blurred, but the message was clear. She thinks she's going to be a hero, but she's not clean either. Let's leak the PIP and see how she handles real pressure. They were planning to ruin me, publicly. So I did something I never thought I would. I sent everything, my folder, the lawsuit, and the screenshots of retaliation, to the reporter who wrote the first story. This time I gave permission to use my name. The second article dropped like a bomb. This time it named names. It quoted the PIP. It mentioned the anonymous Slack messages. It showed patterns, not just one woman mistreated, but a string of them over years. Pregnancies, medical emergencies, caregiver leave. All denied or punished. It included a full breakdown of how Daniela had mocked me at the all hands, then tried to rewrite history. And it named the law firm helping us sue. The fallout was instant. Investors called for a formal internal review. A board member stepped down due to personal conflicts. And most important, more employees started coming forward. Not just women. 2 men from engineering said they were punished after taking paternity leave. Another said he took time off to care for his dad and came back to a demotion. The company was now under investigation. Then, in the middle of all this, I got pulled into a meeting. A mandatory one. The invite came from the new interim chief people officer. A woman I'd never met. The meeting included HR, legal, and Daniela. When I walked in, she was already sitting there. Stiff. Fake calm. I didn't sit. The interim CPO cleared her throat and said, "Amanda, we're here to listen to your concerns." I looked straight at Daniela. "You're not here to listen. You're here to negotiate before this gets worse for you." Daniela leaned back and said, "You've made your point, but this could have been handled quietly. You've embarrassed everyone." I said, "You embarrassed yourself when you mocked a pregnant woman on stage." She opened her mouth to reply, but I spoke first. "And just so we're clear," I said, pulling out my phone, "this meeting's being recorded. For legal purposes." The interim CPO turned white. "Let's take a break," she said. After I told them I was recording the meeting, they paused everything. The interim CPO said, "Let's step out for a moment and regroup." They left the room. I stayed seated, calm, focused. 10 minutes later, she came back alone. "Amanda," she said carefully, "we want to resolve this. Internally. Quietly. If we agree to remove the PIP and offer compensation, will you agree to stop sharing details with the press?" I looked at her. She didn't flinch, but her tone had changed. Less corporate, more careful. More desperate. I said, "If you think this is about a payout, you haven't read the lawsuit." She said nothing. Then I added, "You want to negotiate, bring my lawyer in. Until then, we're done." And I walked out. That same week, I got an unexpected message from someone I hadn't spoken to in over a year. His name was Jeremy. He used to be in IT. Quiet guy. Kept to himself. Left suddenly after some HR issues no one ever explained. His message was simple. "Saw your name in that article. You're not crazy." Daniela did the same thing to me. "If you want proof, I've got some." We met that Friday after work. Neutral ground. A diner near the edge of town. Jeremy looked tired. A little older. But steady. He pulled out a beat-up laptop and opened a folder full of archived logs, emails, old Slack exports. He had been documenting everything before he quit. Turns out, Daniela had a long history. She didn't just retaliate against women. She pushed out anyone who challenged her. One guy in data science asked about a promotion she promised. He got reassigned to a dead-end project until he quit. Another woman requested ADA accommodations for a back injury. Her badge access was randomly cut off for a week. Then she was laid off for restructuring. Jeremy had also saved a full chat thread between Daniela and the original HR lead, from back when I was pregnant. In it, she wrote, "She's going to be a problem. If she won't delay her leave, let's box her out. Make her irrelevant." I stared at that message. It wasn't just a joke at an all-hands. It was planned. She wanted to ruin me from the start. We added Jeremy's material to the lawsuit. His notes filled in missing gaps, dates, timelines. He wasn't just a witness, he had proof. After that, the board made a move. Daniela was placed on administrative leave. The email said it was temporary. Said they were doing an internal review. But we all knew what that meant. Then, out of nowhere, I got another message. This time from someone on the board. A woman named Marlene. Mid-60s. Respected. I'd only seen her once in person, during a leadership visit. She asked to meet privately. I was suspicious, but my lawyer said to hear her out. We met in her office downtown. She didn't waste time. "I know what happened," she said. "I've been fighting the same internal politics for years. Daniela's protected by a few people, but not by me." I asked her why she reached out. She said, "Because if we don't change this company now, we never will." Then she handed me a manila envelope. Inside were copies of 3 formal complaints, all filed against Daniela in the last 5 years. All buried. 2 from employees. 1 from a vendor. None had ever been investigated. "If you give these to your lawyer," she said, "they'll know what to do. But I'm warning you. It's going to get uglier before it gets better." She wasn't wrong. The next twist came fast. A leak hit LinkedIn. Someone anonymously posted that I was weaponizing motherhood to destroy a woman executive. The post went viral inside industry circles. It was clearly coordinated. Daniela still had allies. I started getting emails from strangers. Some supportive. Some disgusting. Then, a week later, I got a call from my own dad saying his boss forwarded him the article and asked if I was his daughter. The damage had reached my family. I was shaking. I called my lawyer. He said calmly, "This is retaliation. And now it's personal. Which means we go wide. No more slow moves." I gave him the green light. The next day, he filed an expansion to the lawsuit to include slander, defamation, and targeted harassment. He sent press releases to 6 media outlets. By the next morning, it was national news. Headlines read, "VP accused of targeting pregnant employee now under federal investigation." Leaked messages show tech exec tried to bury maternity discrimination claims. That same afternoon, Daniela deleted her LinkedIn and locked her Twitter. 2 days later, the company website quietly removed her photo from the leadership page. No statement. No goodbye post. Just gone. Daniela's face was gone from the company website by the end of the week. No announcement. No internal memo. No goodbye. She was just erased, like they were hoping people would forget. But people didn't forget. Not the people she hurt. And not me. By this point, the class action lawsuit had grown to 12 employees. And we were all sharing everything. Slack exports. Performance reports. Recordings. Even old exit interview notes. One woman had a voicemail Daniela left her at 11:30 at night, basically threatening her job after she requested to work remotely during bed rest. The voicemail ended up being played on a national podcast that covered workplace abuse. People heard it. Loud and clear. Our company, once known as a great place for women in tech, was now a case study in how fast leadership can rot from the top. And still, the company tried to play both sides. They hired a crisis PR firm. Launched a new equity initiative. Posted an Instagram photo of a staff picnic with the caption, "Family first, always." Meanwhile, I was still showing up to work every day. I didn't quit. That was part of the revenge, staying. Letting them watch me. Letting them know I was still there. Still fighting. Still documenting. And then came the audit. See, when the Department of Labor gets involved, it's slow at first. You barely notice them. But once they're in, they dig deep. They found everything. 3 years' worth of denied FMLA requests with no explanation. Evidence that HR shredded files after the first article dropped a pattern of retaliatory performance improvement plans that matched every pregnancy or disability. Leave a private Slack group where senior leaders made fun of employees with medical needs. They even found that the head of HR had been giving Daniela tips on how to coach people out without triggering lawsuits. That woman resigned 2 days later. She left her badge on the desk and walked out at lunch. The rest? They weren't as lucky. 6 weeks after the audit began, the board sent a company-wide email. In light of recent findings, we will be undergoing a leadership restructuring. 6 people were fired. 3 more were pushed into early retirement. The company settled the class action lawsuit. They paid us, every single one of us. But here's the thing. I didn't settle quietly. I made it public. My lawyer and I made sure the terms allowed me to speak out. And I did. I gave a full interview to the same journalist who broke the original story. I used my real name. I showed her my notes. I walked her through every denial, every joke, every cover-up. That article ended up on the front page of 2 business news sites. It was shared over 80,000 times. And then, just when I thought it was done, something wild happened. I got a call from a startup founder in Chicago. She said, "I read everything. You stood up when most people would have left. I'm building something new. We need someone with guts and brains. You interested?" She offered me a full-time role as head of operations. Fully remote. 8 months paid maternity leave standard. Childcare stipend. Mental health days. Real policies that weren't just lip service. I took it. But not before doing one last thing. I sent Daniela a letter. Not email. Not text. A real letter. Signed. You tried to make me small. You used my pregnancy as a punchline. You denied me dignity and called it company culture. But here's what you didn't count on. I remember. I document. I wait. And I don't back down. You told me this wouldn't end well for me. You were right. It didn't end well for me. It ended better. I never heard back. But months later, I got word she was applying for a job at another firm. My lawyer sent them the case documents. No lies. Just facts. They passed. It's been a year since it all blew up. 12 women got justice. A dozen policies were rewritten. A toxic VP lost her career. And a company finally had to look itself in the mirror. As for me, I have a healthy baby, a new job and peace I didn't have before. I'm not bitter. I'm just done letting people like her win. She thought she could humiliate me in front of the whole department. So I made sure the whole country saw who she really was. And I don't regret a thing.